Hello, I'm Darren the Magic Ghostbuster, and in this video I'm taking a look at the Ghostbusters Matty Collector 6-inch figure line. This line started in 2009, made by Mattel, and was available exclusively through their mattycollector.com website. This was a website designed for selling figures direct to the collectors. Unfortunately, it was plagued with many issues and was really badly run. Now you could say, what do I know? Well, I know they're not around anymore, so I think that says it all. But I'll go more into that a bit later on. But I think first we'll take a look at some of the figures. Now, some people wrongly say that Mattel were the first company to do movie-based figures. This is actually wrong. It was actually NECA. They released the Pterodogs, Gozer, and Slimer. There was supposed to be a Series 2 featuring the 4 Ghostbusters, but unfortunately they couldn't secure the likeness rights to Bill Murray, so they were scrapped. It wasn't until Mattel come along that started doing movie-based figures that we actually got figures based on the actual Ghostbusters themselves. And our first one was at the San Diego Comic-Con 2009, and this was Egon Spengler, who came with Slimer. And although the Mattel figures have been bettered, I think, in later lines by other companies, I think they were still very cool for the day. And I still actually prefer the packaging on these figures to anything that's come since. Like, I love the Pterodog designs around them. You've got Stay Puft at the back, and I just like the packaging on these, basically. But there you have Egon, and he comes with Slimer, and of course Egon is slimed as well. Slimer has a display stand, and I actually quite like the sculpt on Slimer. I think he is very cool. The back of all the figures have a personnel file on whatever figures contain, so have the name, profession, and all sorts of stuff, and that is pretty consistent throughout the line. But after that, our first proper figure that was available on their website was Ray Stance. He came with the No Ghost logo. Now, they never really got a good likeness of Ray, it must be said. Yeah, I don't think, although you know it's Ray, I don't think it's a very good likeness of Dan Aykroyd personally. But yeah, other than that, a pretty cool figure. Again, same standard packaging. Next up we have Winston, and Winston came with the ghost trap, and of course you've got this cool accessory of like the lightning coming out of the trap to capture the ghost. And I think a much better likeness on this one of Ernie Hudson as Winston to the Ray. And again, of course, you turn it around and you have that personnel file on the back. Next up we have Walter Peck, old Dickless himself, and very cool figure of Peck. And I think the thing that attracted more people to this really was actually this really cool containment unit accessory. That is really cool, and highly sought after figure still, just for that, more than the figure. Yeah, very cool accessory there, and of course personnel file on the back as well. But yeah, very cool figure. And then finally we got our first ever Peter Venkman figure. Yes, Mattel somehow managed to get the license rights to Bill Murray. I really wish NECA did. I would have loved to have seen what NECA would have done with the main guys, but never mind. You also get a another version of Slimer there, and of course this is technically our first Slimer if you exclude the convention exclusive that was obviously available to less people. But yeah, very cool version of Slimer there. You can't have Peter Venkman without Slimer, and Peter is slimed as well, so he does have some slime on him. And then we have a variant of Ray Stance, and that is the Ready to Believe You Ray from the advert wearing his lab coat. And what I really like about this is you actually get a pack-in ghost, which is very cool. I wish more companies going forward would have done these pack-in ghosts. And that's one thing Mattel did really well, I think, was some of the pack-in ghosts that we got with some of the figures. You know, you need more ghosts in a line, really. I mean, it's Ghostbusters, for God's sake. But there you go, and personnel file on the back. And then we have our first Egon in the main line. Obviously we had their convention exclusive. This one is Egon, comes with his PK meter and a stack of books. This is non-slimed as well. The convention exclusive was a slimed one. So yeah, very cool figures there. So, as I said at the beginning of the video, Matty Collector was a really badly run company. One thing I used to say over and over was that the figures had to be sold exclusive to them because they would never sell at retail. Now, people that say that forget that retail isn't just the likes of Walmart and HMV and places like that. Retail is small collectors shops like Nerd Toys, Big Bad Toy Store, all places like that. These would easily have sold at retail. Diamond Select proved it. Hasbro have proved it in the, in years after, and Mattel proved it themselves by releasing this at retail. This was an exclusive to Toys R Us. This brilliant set of the We're Back Ghostbusters in their charcoal grey suits came with the 4 Ghostbusters, of course, and Slimer. This really cool box set. And they even came with Santa hats. There was some slight variations. Some had them packaged wearing the hats, and some where the hats were in the bottom of the box, like mine. Next up we had Peter Venkman, and this time he wasn't slimed, clean uniform, no Slimer. And this started to frustrate some collectors because this is exactly how everyone wanted their main 4 Ghostbusters to be. With gloves on, with a proton stream, with a display stand, and we just didn't get that with a lot of the others, and it was really annoying, but still a very good figure in its own right. And then next up is one of my favourites from the Mattel Matty Collector line, and that is Courtroom Peter. And it was so nice to see Courtroom figures finally, really cool, and we've not had them again since. It's really annoying. And then of course we have New Zero. I never know how to pronounce his name. I never pronounce it right. Scaleri, and such a cool figure of him as well. He came with 2 different sets of feet, so you could have him standing or in more of a flight pose. Unfortunately, he didn't come with a display stand, but very cool to finally have a Courtroom figure. And I really wish some of the newer companies would get on the Courtroom Ghostbusters. It'd be nice to see them again. And then we had Lewis Tully, Vince Clauvo, Keymaster of Gozer. And I really like this figure. I think it's a really good version of Lewis Tully there. And he comes with his jar, a bit of pizza, and a part of the stone pterodog to put over the top of his head. Very cool likeness. We've had a couple of versions of him since. We had the one from Diamond Select and the newer one from Hasbro. But I still think this is my favourite of the 3 so far. Now, one thing they did was a thing called Club Ecto, which was a subscription service. So basically you subscribed, you'd automatically be charged these figures, once every couple of months roughly when they come out. You wouldn't have to go online. One of the advantages to this was, and this is another problem dealing with Mattel, was they used to use this company called Digital River to basically process all their orders. Now, Digital River is a massive worldwide company. It processes a lot of stuff. But whenever people went online to buy these figures as soon as they came out, we would be greeted by this thing we called the white screen of death. And that would take about half an hour to go away. Now, a lot of people believe that that was actually manufactured by Mattel. There wasn't actually that much demand because, like I said, Digital River is a company that deals with massive companies processing, insane amounts of orders every minute. So why couldn't they deal with Matty Collector and their servers? And a lot of people think it was manufactured as a way to make their stuff look rarer and drum up interest. Isn't the only time they've done sneaky tactics to do that, and I'll go over those a bit later on. But one of the other advantages of Club Ecto was you got an exclusive figure. And you still had to pay for it, it wasn't free, but this was the exclusive figure, Marshmallow Mess Ray. And to me, this is one of the downfalls of Marshmallow Mess figures going forward, because it set a precedent that Marshmallow figures could be crap, because this is crap. This is absolute crap. Look at the marshmallow on him. Does that look like Marshmallow Mess Ray from Ghostbusters? Absolutely not. Just a couple of bits of white paint. It should have been caked in the stuff. So, very disappointing figure that was. Absolute garbage, that one was. But next up, Slime Blower Winston. Now, this took a bit of this was another thing where Mattel almost like done a half-assed figure and was like, that's fine. They didn't originally bother sculpting any of the harness on Slime Blower Winston. They were just going to basically get the slime blower and stick it on a regular Winston action figure. And luckily, a lot of fans protested and they did the harness. But it took a lot of effort to get there, and it shouldn't have done, Apparently, Mattel had untold limited references, so, it should have been an obvious thing they should have done. There you go. Also came with a tripod trap, which is very cool. The tripod trap is from that scene in the montage of Ghostbusters 2 when they're in a jewellery shop. So, yeah, very cool. I actually think this is a really good figure, and they did actually redo the head sculpt on Winston for his GB2 likeness. So, very, very cool. For the 2011 San Diego Comic Con, Mattel done this exclusive 22-inch Stay Puft for their 6-inch line. And it was nice to finally get a nice big Stay Puft to display with your Ghostbusters figures, because previously we had obviously the Kenner one that was barely taller than the figures themselves, and then of course we did have the Necker one. It wasn't quite as big as this, but the sculpting on it I think was a little odd. It was a shame considering how good the rest of their figures were, but this wasn't without its own issues. Now, first off, let's look at the box. The box, it was like this massive box that was designed to look like a metal case. Well, it was cardboard, but it's designed to look like a metal case. And then it opened up to make like this cityscape, and it was a really cool idea. And so you put that on your shelf and have all your Ghostbusters figures in front of it. Looked really cool. But the figure itself was made of like this foam material, which I think the idea behind it was quite cool, like, you know, try and make it feel more marshmallowy rather than a hard plastic, but it had a serious yellowing problem. Now, you can't see it on mine, but it was the legs and arms really yellowed. I actually had to repaint mine, as I know a lot of others did, and it's a shame, because I actually quite like the sculpt in it. It's not perfect, it's not accurate. I think the best version of Stay Puft in this size is the Diamond Select Moneybanks, but I actually really like it. I think it looks quite cool. But yeah, it's just a shame about the yellowing thing. I mean, obviously it was remedied with paint, but you shouldn't have to be doing that sort of stuff. And I'm not talking about a couple of years later. These were yellowing within months. It was ridiculous. But weirdly, the head and the body never yellowed, so I never really got why. So I don't know if it was made of a different type of foam. I'm not really an expert on that sort of stuff, but that is the Stay Puft for the Mattel line. So just before we get back to the figures, I just want to show this cool little thing off. This was a car air freshener of Stay Puft that Mattel handed out at events, and this was to advertise the 2012 Club Ecto subscription. So very cool little thing there. So I mentioned earlier about how Mattel would, you know, do sneaky things to make their stuff look rarer than it was, and one of those was to mark stuff as sold out when it wasn't sold out at all. Most Ghostbuster stuff was sold out within days, as a lot of their other lines were. People would ask on their forums, you know, are these figures coming back? You know, I've just discovered them, I want to buy them. And they'd go, no, they're never coming back. And then, of course, they would come back during a sale period where there was a hefty chunk off them. That was a slap in the face to the collectors who bought them full price at the beginning, and a slap in the face to those people they said no to, who have then had to go to places like eBay and pay 2-3 times the RRP. It was a very bad business on their part, and it was a shame. Mattel often blamed the fans for the failure of the line. Like, they'd go, you know, oh, people didn't buy enough of it. And it's like, well, if they were sold out, you know, you marked them as sold out, people couldn't buy them. You can't blame the fans for that. And let's just assume they didn't artificially do this. Let's assume they were really sold out. You can't sell better than sold out. If something sells out, it was a success. So we then got Ready to Believe You Egon that came with the Library Ghost, continuing the packing Ghost, which I really liked. And it was good to get another figure in that Ready to Believe You thing for a good advert display. And Egon came with his PKE, well, several PKE meters actually, with different, the arms in different positions. So very cool and nice to get that Library Ghost. Funnily enough, talking of the Library Ghost, there were some leaked images of the Grey Lady version of the Library Ghost. Unfortunately, that never got released, and Mattel always denied that it was even real. Next up, we had Slime Blower Ray. Came with the Theatre Ghost there, so very cool thing there. Now, I just want to mention, with the Ghostbusters 2 figures, I always wish they changed the packaging slightly, because they have the Terror Dog on them, and I really think they should have put the Scoleri brothers there. That's just a minor nitpick, but I do feel like they could have put a bit more effort into the Ghostbusters 2 packaging. But yeah, very cool figure of Ray, basically the same as Slime Blower Winston, except it's Ray. And then we had Vigo, and this is where they basically stopped listening to the fans. Despite being told over and over before it was released, they made his hair grey and he is blonde. But then I suppose it's not like his hair colour was ever mentioned in the film.
You know, I have met some dumb blondes in my life, but you take the taco, pal.
But other than that, I mean, that was our first time ever getting a Vigo figure, and he came with a lenticular painting, which was very cool, showing him in the painting or, of course, out the painting. So, very cool figure. And talking of prototypes, there's been several leaks of a demon head version of Vigo, but again, Mattel always completely denied that existed. And then we have, completing our Ready to Believe You scene, we have Peter Venkman, who came with the Taxi Ghost. Now, with the Taxi Ghost, they decided not to add legs like Diamond selected when they released their Taxi Ghost. They've just left him floating on a stand. Which version do you prefer? Do you prefer this version or the one with the legs? Obviously, we don't know if he actually had legs from Ghostbusters. I mean, you might say he must have done to drive a car, but he's a ghost, you know. Then we had this convention exclusive Dana Barrett Azul. Many people complained that this was more of a mini statue than an action figure, wasn't posable really at all. You did get alternate legs so you could have a stand-in or laying on the plinth, but I actually thought it was a cool looking thing for a display, and I don't think there's many other ways you would have posed her anyway. And yeah, I like this one personally. I bet, like I said, a lot of people didn't. And then we had the Rookie figure from Ghostbusters, the video game. Can't say I was that bothered by this figure. I think a lot of people got more excited about the Rookie than I did. To me, the Rookie was, the idea of the Rookie was to be you or me, you know, the person playing the game. That's why he didn't have any lines or anything. So I never really saw him as his own character, even though he was made into his own character in the comic books. But he came with a trap, came with lightning stuck in the ghost again. But they didn't bother doing any of the upgrades, which I thought was a shame on the Proton Pack. Although one cool thing is they did actually have the trap hanging on his belt, which I thought was a cool addition. But that was the Rookie from the video game. And then we had Courtroom Ray with Tony Scaleri, and again, very cool. Unfortunately, I didn't do the flying feat for Tony Scaleri. You could only have him standing up. Although, not that the other one came with a display stand. But it was cool to finish the two ghosts off. And cool to have another courtroom one. And to be honest, at that point, we thought the line was dead. Until eventually we did get, as a convention exclusive, Courtroom Egon. He obviously didn't come with one of the Scaleri brothers because we've had those. But he did come with a lot of different accessories. So that was like the final figure we got from Mattel. And that was pretty much it. They did try doing a crowdfunding thing with an Ecto-1. Wasn't incredibly well promoted. It failed massively. They only used like a weird foam cardboard thing to show us what it would have looked like. And one of their main sales pitches for it was it really rolls. I mean, I don't think there should ever be a sales pitch for a car. That should be the absolute minimum it should do. But yeah, and pretty much Matty Collector clung on for a little bit, but they were dead, really. Like I said, it was a pretty bad company. And it wasn't just Ghostbusters they messed around with. One of the more famous things was their bait and switch with the Back to the Future hoverboard. You know, they said it was going to have all the lenticular holographic stickers on. When it came, it didn't at all, and that angered a lot of people. And it's a shame because, you know, Mattel really were the only people that could release a hoverboard with the Mattel stickers on. I know other companies have done hoverboards now, like costume companies, but not with those Mattel stickers because obviously they're not Mattel, and that was a shame. But that wasn't the complete end of stuff from Mattel. So, as Matty Collector was slowly dying, they cancelled the Club Ecto subscriptions, and they promised an exclusive item for all subscribers as a way of making up for the cancellation. And people wondered what they'd get until it was revealed they were just going to get another version of Slimer, because if there's one thing Matty loved doing, it was reusing parts. So we did get these two 30th anniversary box sets featuring the 4 Ghostbusters, exactly how we wanted them from the beginning, really. They all had gloves, they all had display stands, they all had proton streams, so it was nice to finally get those. And I thought they were quite well displayed in the box, but unfortunately it was a little too late to really revive the line and Matty Collector's fortunes. So, for the 2016 film, Mattel did a range of toys for that, and they re-released some of the Matty Collector stuff in different packaging. And you got the 4 Ghostbusters. So this one's Peter Venkman, and they didn't come with any accessories, no proton streams, no stands or anything, but you did get this part of the Ghost logo to make up. So Peter came with that part, and then you got Egon, who came with this part. Winston came with this part, and then finally Ray came with this part, and then that would make up this nice stand of the No Ghost logo to display your Ghostbusters figures with. But didn't come with any ghosts or anything, so I thought that was a bit weird. You think they would have put Slimer in with at least one of them or something like that? And these were actually quite hard to get. Funnily enough, they turned up in Poundland over here in the UK, not for £1, £5, but still a bargain. And they were available for a couple of weeks, and yeah, if you got them from there, you were quite lucky. But yeah, one other thing they did release in different packaging again was a Ghostbusters classic chart Stay Puft. They did the balloon Stay Puft from the reboot film, but this was the classic one, and did light up, and the battery's still working actually, which is cool. But that was pretty much it. Mattel did a few other like little things, in the blind bag stuff and all that, but I mean, this video is really more about the Matty Collector stuff, and that was it really. It's a shame that it was such a poorly run company, because I think they had some great figures over their time. A lot of those figures have been bettered. They did miss out on some key characters. You know, there was no Janine, there was no Gozer, there was no Terror Dogs. I always wondered if they didn't bother with Gozer and Terror Dogs because they were done by NECA, and NECA done them so much better than still any company has managed, I think. But yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame, really. Like I said, I think they did some great figures, and even their promotion was bad. Like a lot of them, like if you post a picture of one of these figures on a Facebook group, you will more than likely get comments saying, "What line's this? I've never heard of this before." You know, 15 odd years later, people still don't realise that this line was a thing, and it's a shame, but it is what it is. But anyway, let me know what you think of the Matty Collector line. I do have videos coming up on their 12-inch line and their Retro Action Real Ghostbusters line, so be sure to check them out. But anyway, thanks for watching. I know it was quite a long video, but that was quite a lot of stuff to get through. But anyway, as always, until next time, and always keep on busting.